score is 4 to 5, 80% resolution of hypertension is seen. If the score is 0 to 1, 13% of the resolution of hypertension is seen. So in males more than 45 years with family history of hypertension, again the resolution, hypertension resolution postoperatively is less. All of the following are seen in primary hyperaldosteronism except hypokalemia, elevated plasma renin level, plasma aldosterone more than 15 nanogram per deciliter, elevated plasma aldosterone, plasma renin activity. Elevated plasma renin. Renin is low. So Zell-Bolan appearance is seen in paraganglioma. Radiopharmaceuticals used in nuclear endocrinology. Match the false statement. Indium-11 pentatriotrate in adrenal glands, technetium-19 protectinate in thyroid, technetium-99 may be parathyroid, gallium-68 DOTA neuroendocrine tumors. So the answer is pentatrotide in adrenal glands. Congenital adrenal hyperplasia is most commonly caused by deficiency of which of the following enzymes? 21-hydroxylase. So this is the pathway that we discussed earlier. So 21-hydroxylase deficiency can cause ambiguous genitalia with adrenal insufficiency. 11-beta-hydroxylase can cause ambiguous genitalia, adrenal insufficiency, and hypertension. 3-beta-hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase can cause visualization. 17-alpha again can cause ambiguous genitalia with hypertension with adrenal insufficiency, and oxidoreductase deficiency can cause adrenal insufficiency, skeletal malformations, and ambiguous genitalia. Initial biochemical screening tests for incidentally discovered adrenal nodules include all of the following except high-dose DEXA, high-dose DEXA suppression test, plasma aldosterone concentration, low-dose DEXA suppression test, and plasma-free catecholamines. So high-dose DEXA suppression is not the initial biochemical screening test. It comes eventually when low-dose DEXA is abnormal. So according to most current recommendations, what size should operative intervention of adrenal incidentaloma be considered? 4 centimeters. Adrenal incidentalomas are adrenal masses that is discovered serendipitously with a radiological examination performed for indications unrelated to adrenal disease. So it can be adenomas, nodular hyperplasias, carcinomas, angiomyolipomas, pheochromocytomas, hematomas, myelolipomas, lipomas, metastasis, and liposarcomas, carcinomas, neuroblastomas, etc. So investigation, it can be functional, non-functional, can be benign or malignant. Indications for resection depend on what kind of tumor it is. So the basic investigations include overnight dexamethasone suppression test, 24-hour urine metanephrine or plasma metanephrine, PRA-PSC ratio, potassium levels, DHEA or DHEAS level based on suspicion, 79-hydroxyprogesterone levels again based on symptoms. Imaging, these are basic screening tests for any adrenal incidentaloma. So ONDST and 24-hour urine metanephrine are mandatory for any adrenal incidentalomas which are detected. So CT abdomen show less than 4 centimeters homogeneous lipid rich, Hounsfield less than 10 usually suggests benign. MRI benign adenomas. So MRI is usually done in adolescent and pregnancies, and 30 to 40% adrenal adenomas are lipid poor. Absolute washout more than 60%, relative washout more than 40% suggests again adenomas, adrenal protocol. 43-year-old woman has a 5-year history of poorly controlled hypertension, fatigue, and myalgias. She's taking 3 different medications, including a diuretic and beta blocker. What is the next step in establishing the diagnosis of surgically correctable hypertension? CT of the abdomen and pelvis, 24-hour total and fractionated urinary metanephrine, PAC-PRA, and renal ultrasound. So she has hypertension, myalgia, and pre-resistant hypertension. So we do PAC-PRA. 60-year-old woman has a left adrenal mass noted on CT. Review of the CT, which of the following suggests a benign lesion. Mass larger than 4 centimeters, contrast washout less than 50% and 10 minutes, heterogeneous enhancement less than 10 Hounsfield is benign. So meta-iodobenzyl guanidine, MIBG, is taken up and concentrated by adrenal medulla because it has a structural similarity to norepinephrine. Heterocortical carcinoma is associated with all except lepromyl, MEN1, Bequith-Wheaton, and VHL. So VHL has pheochromocytomas. It's coming to adrenocortical carcinoma. It's an orphan disease because it's very less in number, not been extensively studied. Females slightly more than males. Left side most commonly involved than the right. Hormone secreting can cause Cushing's, virilization features, feminization features. Size of the lesion usually responsible for symptoms: abdominal pain, abdominal distension, early satiety, weight loss, and leg edema. Syndromes associated with it are Li-Fraumeni syndrome, MEN1 syndrome, Lynch, familial adenomatous polyposis, and Gardner syndrome, Bequith-Wheaton syndrome. Any adrenal incidentoma, pheochromocytoma should be ruled out. Secretion of steroids or precursors should be identified. Mass spectrometry based on steroid profiling of 24-hour urine samples. And biopsy is contraindicated. It is done only when lymphoma or metastasis is suspected. So NSAID staging for ACC, T1, T2, T3, and T4, less than 5 and more than 5 centimeters. T3 is any size with periadrenal pattern invasion. T4 is any size with neighboring organ invasion. N1 is adjacent lymph nodes. M1 is metastatic disease. So treatment includes complete resection, on-block resection, neoadjuvant therapy, borderline resectable tumors, mitotin with etoposide and cisplatin. So mitotin was FDA recommended with the ADIUVO trial, where metastatic adrenal carcinomas have been treated with adjuvant mitotin after resection versus observation, which shows significant improvement in survival. FERMAC trial is when they compared EDP regimen, that is etoposide,